Hi there, Cancer. This is Joy with Joy of the World, here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. Friends and subscribers, welcome back. And if you're new to this channel, be sure to click that subscribe button as well as ring the bell. They'll notify you anytime I post new videos. Also, if you find you like the content we provide here at Joy to the World, be sure to give us a big thumbs up, like, and share. And for those of you who have been giving donations, it is so greatly appreciated. Thank you for keeping this channel going. But for now, Cancer, let's dive in. It has taken my whole day to get to this. I was wondering what was going on. They began to show me life through the lens of your eye and where you're at right now. You could call it a crossroads, but really it is like two different sets of eyes, two different mindsets, and it is difficult to say the least. So at the top, what insists on coming out, they're saying we want to take a walk through the runes, and it is called the self. It's blocked, disarray, habits, repetition, haughtiness, and own enemy. Okay, we'll get to the other side in a minute. But the thing that they were talking about is the key word is conflation. And I was like, okay, so they're talking about being confounded and it being inflated, but it really has to do with the merging of two ideas. That your definition of happiness has been tied and tethered around this one like ideology, not just necessarily an experience, and that is what is tearing you up, because the tremendous amount of pain that I am experiencing right now through my collarbones, through my rib cage, through my chest. It's more than even just the heart, more than just the spirit and the soul. It is the physical body. You are tied to this physical body you've been in, and it is inflated. It is difficult to let go of. You were also giving me the image of the chicken and the egg, the acorn and the oak, that type of thing, and wanting to know more about it, and the answer is the butterfly. So they took me into this deep dive. I had to go lay down to receive the interpretation of what all was coming in, because you've been going through so much that none of it makes sense. You can't even see how it fits together. It was like you were given a puzzle box and no cover. Well, then that wouldn't be a puzzle box, would it? You were given a set of pieces, but no image to put it together with. And you can't even begin to figure out how to put it together. There aren't necessarily even edges in this yet, because the picture is bigger than what you are able to see, what you are able to imagine and bring in. Because you've been in two different worlds, separated from yourself for a very long time. You yourself have paid a great price for this, as well as your loved ones, and it has done a lot of damage. Not you. Hear what I'm saying? Not you. You have not done damage. What your experience has been, that life has journeyed you through, that is about to make sense and come together in the big picture, has been expensive. And beyond that, because of the passage of time, it has been taxing. Now, here at Joy to the World, I kind of see us that we're all of the signs. We're all of the planets. Of course we are. And they were reiterating that this week through the different messages. So if you ever feel led to go back and listen, they're all energy sessions. So Cancer, I'm back. There's this unique little energetic trick that I found, that if you're waiting on something, go ahead and get moving. It's not necessarily like moving around, but get on with what it was you were doing, and it comes through. It comes through. And I appreciate your patience while I took that phone call. Very much things that riddle my collarbones and ribs. If we knew what was going on in each other's lives, huh? So, point is, there's been that deep pain, that difficulty, that it's like doubt, guilt, shame, those sort of things going on. And it's like it's been woven in the fabric of who you are. And they're like, no more, no more. So we're going to take this dive, this reflection, to look in and find out what is true to you and what is not, how to get it out of there, because it's created this distorted image that you can't even see what's being offered you, because there's water in the way. That water that's in the way is actually quite small, very contained, except it's contained around your head, like a fishbowl inverted that's holding water, and therefore your view of what's going on is quite distorted. It's like putting on glasses when you don't need them. How you'll watch somebody, even try it the next time you're at the supermarket, put on those readers, like a high level reader, and your arms will fling out and your head will swirl around and you'll feel sick instantly. They're saying that's a bit of what's going on, that you don't need that kind of help anymore, that you're not needing to see far into the future or reflecting way in the past, that you're really centralizing, and it's spiraling like this because it's settling down and it's coming to the true point. There's been a little bit of a shake-up, and it just needs that tiny measure of time. They're saying to reveal the pearl. Leave it to you to be enticing like that. So there are a few cards out coming from the Oracle of You deck, and also from, forget the name. What is this? The Wisdom Oracle. All right, so diving into the self, this is what they're wanting us to look at. Now that they've presented what is going on and how you're blocked, is you've been stuck on your head for some time, poles inverted, power reduced, even though it's not necessary. It's like you don't even know the power contained within you. Like the oak and the acorn, they are one. That's to get back to it. That's what they were talking about with the butterfly. Is people think, oh, gentle, sweet, loving, kind, resurrection, hope, inspiration, and they're like, They said, sure, but the life cycles of the butterfly are contained in the butterfly. And that is something that is incredibly progressive, something that is growing and changing and developing bite after bite after bite. So recalibrating. They're saying don't become sedentary in your mindset, because it will distort how you see, and the images will conflict. It's like, if any of you are old enough to remember film cameras back in the day, when they got developed, sometimes the place that did it could double expose them. Or you might have as well, thinking you had an unused roll of film, you loaded it up and you took more images right on top of it. So there's like that kind of a double vision going on. Not the doubling of what you're exactly seeing, but two different layers of time, two totally different perspectives. And these perspectives are a bit of you in a role. So having to do with public as well as personal. And that seems to be not a conflict, but the conflicting images of what to do. You're going in sign language. This is what do. So we're going to turn it around and take a look at the self. Receptive integrity, abide, stillness, willing presence, mirror, balance. So taking a good look at yourself. And that's why they had me lay down. Because that's when you're getting the pure, true reflection without the stress of life, the impact of gravity. It reduces it down to like your latitude and longitude, your point on the map, as opposed to the deep penetrating power of the earth, just allowing it to flow through you like a filter. All right, so they're wanting us to start on the bottom layer, number 39, new life. That's a good place to start. Look at this. Yawning, stretching, rising up. Now, what I see in this image today is this creature is punching the air, and that's what creates this blast, this shock wave of like command. They were talking about commanding your peace, and that doesn't mean going around with this stoic, firm, demanding type energy. It's literally being confirmed in who you are and making a move in that. Moving forth in that, even something as simple as waking up. The earth shakes and says, woo, Cancer is here, and they know what's up. They have purpose, they have meaning, they know who they are personally and who they are publicly. And we'll find out more about that, because these pennants aren't in all of the images, but when they're there, there's something crowning the energy a little bit more. Let me take another reflection. Okay, so as you do that, the answers to prayers are coming down, is what I see going on here. And the golden egg begins to become clear. Who you are on the inside. Who you are on the inside. You just needed to open up your crown chakra. Had gotten constricted and closed off like a, you ever get those little goodie bags, those little cellophane things, and they're tied at the top and wrapped up. All you have to do is untie it, and then you're open to the contents that are inside. It's like you need to be able to access your own contents for yourself. So if you didn't know that's something viable and permissible for each individual here on earth, yes, access yourself. They told me this phrase, use it or lose it. And I used to teach water aerobics to a lot of seniors and hip replacements, knee replacements, and they'd be back in 2 weeks smiling. They're like, girl, use it or lose it. And you think, okay, well, that means I need to take care of this thing, work on this thing like the body. But what life has let me know, use it or lose it has to do with who we are as well, not just our feet and our body, our soul. That if we aren't activating and implementing who we are, some of those energies around us are going to see us like a storehouse and be like, psst, they ain't concerned with that. They won't mind. I'm just going to have some of it because they seem to have plenty sitting there. So that's it. Utilize yourself. Offer yourself the advantage, because operating in who you are in your uniqueness is in no way detracting from anyone else, thieving or robbing them of opportunities. Matter of fact, when we step into who we are and we bring it on out that goodie bag, we have something to share. It affords the whole world the opportunity to be exposed to this whole new energy, to open it up to our world. So thank you for that, Cancer. So up above it is that oracle view coming in. Ooh, I love this. 33, translucence. Love the darkness. Okay, that was the other message they were giving me, is they said, if it's something you seek, be willing to go down into the dirty places to get it. And if that's where it's going, and that is your cap, your seal, your thankfulness, your gratitude, go and get it back. It's like, put a stop to the spinning of time and say, now is the time. Now is the day. That declaring it, and it's more of this type of declaration, right? Taking action on it, moving forward in it. As you can see, you've mounted up on this powerful crow here. Crows can often bring in, nothing against them, okay? They bring in distress out of love, out of sacrifice, out of true concern and care. Needing to bring up those deeper issues that have sheltered your underbelly. They've guarded your instinct, and it's caused a lot of distrust of others, but especially of yourself, because you can't be distrusting of others if you're not already distrusting of yourself. That's where it stems and comes from. So when it's also on 4 legs, the power of the horse, it has to do with immense power, forward motion and movement, and like being able to achieve it, like not even having any doubt. It's very exacting, very sure of itself. But you've kind of given up on this journey. It's almost as if you didn't totally join in when you got on board, that it was like, can you see your shit? I don't want to. That type of an energy. But they're asking you to turn your eyes forward. Take that time of reflection. Begin to look forward for yourself, because this is what you seek, okay? And what's wild is that's the rune of joy. So you're trying to find joy, and joy is when you find yourself. Joy is the pinnacle. It's like the dangle of the carrot. It is the diamond beyond the coal. It is why we go through, why we so desire love, is we want the fruits thereof. And it brings in a whole new world. It brings color to your world. It brings people to your world, community to your world, fantastic to your world, sparkle, shine, quiet, reverie, peace. You're saying solemnity, like that just at the end of a day, like one of you are showing me, you wrapped up in a blanket in front of the fireplace at your favorite time of year with a mug in your hand, just like, or a glass of wine. It's that repose. And you're like, because that's how it's supposed to be. Okay, so let's take a look at the next. Number 36, creativity and how to connect. Okay, so come to the edge of that. Come to the edge of your idea. So this is one of the pieces of the puzzle that you're like, what does fall? What is this about? It doesn't seem to go with anything else on the page. And that's because, look at this. There's so much light on the surrounding pieces that this one dark piece doesn't seem to fit in. And remember, the puzzle pieces you have don't have a box, they don't have a cover, they don't have an image. And that's what's going on with many of us. This whole new divine bringing in of a whole new world, clearing away generational curses, and not just through family bloodlines, but through earth generations, through seasons of time, that type of thing. But what they want you to know is there's a shadow there. There's a shadow on that piece. So look at the little, you know how there'll be the little knob or the little edge, that part of the piece. You might see one little shred of the moon, like a sliver when it's coming out of the new moon there, and you'll see where it fits in. And if you can't see, just try it. Sometimes the dark fits smack dab in the middle of the light. Ask me how I know. I am like the period for your sentence, or the exclamation point, or the question mark. That's just sort of what I serve as, is that dark spot in the center of this bright white page, right? But when we begin to look at those and study them and get to know it more, we see that there is meaning in it, that there is purpose in it, that there is rhyme and reason going on within that Cancer. Spill your love. Yeah. Right here. Right now. Today. There's nothing of worthiness. I feel like that has been an endless pursuit that you've been on, trying to find your worth and trying to be worthy. You already are. Remember, that's why you open the package and you find out what's inside, and you will finally begin to trust and to know and to understand what everyone's been seeing and saying about you all along, so you don't have to give them the kind of that jaded eye of like, are they working me over? Where is this coming from? What is this about? And you'll start to realize what everyone around you has been able to see all along. So up above it, we have 32 tangibility. So it's, again, it's creative connecting, but this is more on a personal level. Make your dreams real. I see the silent reflection. I see that exalting peace. Remember how she's going with her arm here? Look at that. So this is action. This is what you're able to move and go in. And this other card over here is about potential. It's about beginning to unfurl what it's all about so that you can know your next step and your next move, Cancer. But you're still kind of blinded to your perfection, to your awesome power, to your curiosity, to your commitment. More so than you know. You're awakening the sky and the heavens, and there are hands coming along here to help. You just don't know it yet. Maybe you sense it. You definitely sense it. But you have so many dreams, and they have details to them, and they have your fingerprints on them. They're coming in, and they're touching you all over your dreams are. I want to get a card on that. Let's see. Let's get a rune about these dreams, about Cancer's dreams here. Make it very clear. Okay, thank you. So they're showing me coming in, for one, if you can see. All right, so they're like, you want to know? Here's what you're going to know. Here's what you're going to know. It's unknowable, all right? It's magnificent being created right now. They're telling me about our amness, who we truly are. That's what you're opening here is your contents, your connection with self, what you're actually made of. And it's absolute manifestation. That's why it's unknowable, because it only becomes known as you begin to touch it, to activate it, this sort of thing. But it's coming in through your potential. As we stretch and reach and breathe, it's almost like we inseminate it. We fertilize it. Does that make sense? Everlasting, eternal, symbolic death, contrast, fears, potential, impossibilities. I can see why people sometimes don't want to touch the Fool, the Circle, the Gate, the Portal, the Opening. Because will it still be there if I want to get out, if I want to come out, if I change my mind, if it's not what I like, if it's not what I want, if other bad things start to happen around me because something good is happening to me? What if, what if, what if? So here is what is coming in. Okay, so now we're going from top down. We're inverting that energy, and it's number 5. So it's orphaned. But there's shining light that you're not alone. Can you see this pinnacle here? This pennant? Why did I call it a pinnacle? INNACLE. You've reached the highest place you could reach. In what you were thinking about yourself is what they're telling me here. You saw yourself as something that you weren't. So you played the role of a swan, and swans mate for life. So this could be hearkening to death, divorce, whether it's divorce that you yourself had, or whether you're come from a divorced home, whether you've seen relationships that fall out that way that seem fated to be destined and divine, but there were things going on underground that you didn't know about. There were ancient things. They're saying the unchangeable, and it's not that it had to happen that way. It's when people don't do this energy, they don't activate the potential and begin to touch and awaken what is possible here on earth, right? Keeping that high heart of the child, which, by the way, it's relieving some. Thank you. And I'm happy for you as well. But it's showing me more of things being obscured by the fog, by holding off the springtime. It's like you keep asking Spirit, just wait, just wait, just wait. I want to wait just a little bit longer. If I wait just a little bit longer, my swan may come in. And the thing is that's not your mate. It's not about that glossy perfection, which I'm not calling a swan that. I'm just following the flow of what they're saying. You have made yourself up to be something you're not. And that's why it's caused you pain. That's why it's caused you suffering. It's like jamming that square peg into the round hole. You're altering your makeup, your composition, and playing different notes than what's on the page. And that's because you were wanting to be original, to be creative, and you like this sound better, this presentation better. But what you failed to recognize is this hand wrote that symphony. This is the active part of you that wrote that symphony that you are awakening to begin to play and to dialogue with and to allow. It's like you are your own muse. Interesting. Thanks for that little nugget, Cancer. I can't wait till I listen back to this and just get bathed in all this revelation you're giving us. But they say take heart, good days are coming. Because the moment you take your mask off, the moment you stop trying to be the swan, the something that's for life, for life, for life, because that's what's going on here, the symbolic death. Some of us in this one body, in this one generation that we come in, will live many lives. And that's what the butterfly is symbolic of. It's like that perpetual regeneration, the going on, the moving on, the growing, and being devoted to the growth, into the process, more than the identity of it. Allowing the words to flow is what they're saying. But these same ancient things that wanted to speak to where you came from, they still want to speak, and they want to speak to you. I need to say to the ones who think that you're, touch my heart. I think that you're shit. I'm sorry. That's what you're saying. You're like, you're worthless. I love you. I see you. You're beautiful. I like who you are. And I'm glad you have endured and you came into this world and you've pressed on. Even when hope ran dry, somehow you opened yourself enough to make it another day. I want you to be crowned with joy, and joy that lasts forever. That's almost like what this portal, this thing is that you go through. It's really like a fitting that all of a sudden then it gets turned like this, and it's that crown on top of your head. It's your opening and your connection, kind of like this, so that then you do know what to do and you know how to live. Look how vibrant and bright this is. This is very Cancerian. Can you see that energy in there? The Cancer takes the energy of the spirit realm and brings it down into the body and into the heart, into the throat chakra especially. And that's not just expressing through words. To me, it's expressing through action. The one who keeps their promises sometimes makes the least promises of all, because they're constantly evolving and growing and raising their vibration, the heart, or retuning their strings to stay in divine position, to stay true to the music, true to the song, true to life's symphony in the skillful hands. So clarifying this card of the orphan is number 13, fork in the road. So taking a moment to look at yourself, your divine self, before making that decision. So you're saying count the cost, and I'm like, no, it's not count the cost. It's like an assessment. You know, it's not necessarily how much is this trip going to cost me when I go on it. It's more like, what do I pack in my bags? Do I pack everything I want to have with me? What do I want to do when I'm there? Ooh, what if I this? What if I that? And then some of those what ifs and unknowns, you just pack some cash, or you pack a card, and you're like, this will cover the rest. This will cover the unknowable. And this is you saying, baby, I got you, because you is us. You're not alone. You're not out there by yourself. There's a you yet to be discovered. You just haven't been surrounded by it. And there was reason, okay? You're sought your truth, and you've sought the truth. And salt, we don't tend to unscrew the lid and dump it on our bowl. That'd be nasty, right? We put the little holes in the top and we scatter it around, right? And you were scattered from your people group, from your like resonance heart, your similar note on the keyboard of life, right? And that's what this time is bringing in. So this is more of a self-assessment going on. And you know, it may or may not be to follow that light. The path unknown. The path unknown. So do that self-assessment. Now that you've cleared and found out what's going on in your belly, what you're made of, what you want to craft with this life that you've been given. So next we have, that's something because it makes my nose tickle. I never had a tickly nose till I started recording these things and doing them for you guys. So that's definitely true. Number 49, the observer. Let curiosity come into play. Now, secretly inside, you're quite curious because your mind is very active and you're observing and what-ifing and watching and thinking and sorting and sifting all these files of information that you see and perceive. But you haven't so much been that observer for yourself. It felt too risky, too unsafe, because in your mind, who has your back? Who's got you covered? Who's going to, speak up or chime in or come alongside and encourage you if you get down? To kind of be like, is that where you were intending to go? Like a friend who's going to be a true friend to you. And they're saying yourself, but remember, that doesn't mean you are alone. There's a part of you calling unto yourself, like I call it, your invisible teacher, is calling unto you. It could be your future self, but it's even more of a divine manifestation than that. It has a different purpose going on with it, but that curiosity is like that fertility, like that insemination going on. It says imagine, dream, and wonder beyond anything that you know. Not just open your heart, but in your case, Cancer, open your belly. Open your belly to us. Your belly is safe with us. We will not do you wrong. We will not stir you wrong. We will not take your treasure. That's what the spirit guides, your spirit realm is saying to you. Trust your feelings. Trust those gut instincts. Don't play them up against yourself. And they're also saying don't wait too long because the moon is very lunar. It has to do with cycles and timing. And you could be a master of that, especially if you reflect and you look back through some cycles to where you the results were skewed, misaligned, altered by the misstep of timing. Holding on, wanting to check one more time, wanting to validate one more time, to confirm, that type of a thing. But remember, this has to do with the assessment of, ooh, what do I do when I go there? What should I pack for that? What do I want to take along? What experience? How do I want it to feel? Okay, so there's the point. How do you want it to feel, Cancer? How do you want it to feel? Not how do you want others to feel about you. How do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? Wonderful. I know that. Beautiful. I know that. Loved. I know that. So start there and begin to take this curious perspective of how do I want to feel? And how do I want to feel today? And celebrate that and honor that. Even if that seeking, that question leads you to like a dark spot, right? Or that dirty place where something that you were seeking, so anyways, I grabbed something out of the cabinet and the top popped off and rolled down. It was in the bathroom and rolled down by the container of the toilet brush. And I'm like, and it said, hey, you want it, don't you? And I'm like, yes, because that cap specifically fits my moisturizer. And they're like, go and get it and then clean it off. And then get on with what you're doing. If you see something that goes in the dirty place, go after it. Go get it. So that's kind of where these little lessons come from. Life is laced through everything. And they said they're chronically, constantly speaking to us. So that's why they're saying don't go over it. Don't keep holding out. Don't keep waiting. They're layer upon layer, piece to piece. It will all make sense soon enough, okay? So underneath the observer of bringing in this perpetual balance through the variability, through the phases of the moon that you love, that builds the layers of confidence for you, of self-assurance, of being able to trust yourself, and then being able to trust life. And through that comes on the fabric of being able to trust others. So number 12, a change in the wind. So when you begin to shift your mind about this, your belly, about it, focusing on how you feel, it's going to change your spiritual interaction. It's going to change your ideas of it, your perception of it. Remember they were talking about like that fishbowl, that emotional distorted perception about the double exposed film. So kind of like looking out and looking within, it created distortion in a they're saying a fattening of your soul that led to lethargy. But you'll be strapped up, ready to go, positioned to have your dreams come true. And for some of you, specifically marriage. And that's for people who aren't even with somebody. That's who they're talking to, are the hopeful romantics, and not like the grandiose type of romantic. Literally, it's hearth and home. Someone who sees you as their safe space, and you see them as your safe space. And it's that sincerity and commitment to promise and that truth, but also with the strong indicator of spirit here, commitment to spirit and moving and changing through time and allowing life to have its own expression in and through you and through y'all together at the same time. So that's what we got going on there. I want to get another one on that. They're saying get back to those rune cards. I have my other ones over here, the credit cards, and my hand keeps going there to the action, to the action, to the action. They're like, no. Let's get back to that potential. So thank you. That came right out into the hand, and it's skyward. All things return to the sun. And it's like staying committed to this moment. See, I see this as like, not like planting your feet, like I'm not immovable, that type, but literally being steady on your feet. Kind of like your GPS point, moving around that. You're navigable when you're like this. But it's also taking me back into tarot, into solar energy, which is all things beautiful, good, kind, lovely, fair, hopeful, and like a fulfillment of hope, that type of an energy coming in. And so they're restoring and refilling your high heart, the pink chakra, and the chest and the lungs, and the divine purpose in your personal life, so that your public life has flesh and bone as well. Very interesting, Cancer. I appreciate you sharing this time with me and taking us through this and giving us the wisdom of your soul. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon. This is Joy saying, I love you.